I have always wanted to find and film an abandoned cemetery for my channel, and today I am here in Paintsville, Kentucky, and have managed to do just that. Now, these cemeteries, although, very sad to be abandoned, they do hold a lot of history, and this particular cemetery actually holds the remains of one of the founders of Paintsville, and, around his grave is okay and well taken care of, but I will show you that at the end of the video. But what I want to focus on are the forgotten, abandoned graves back on the hill. So today we are in Paintsville, Kentucky, visiting an old abandoned cemetery. This is a different type of cemetery tour than I have ever done before, so there's a few things I want to mention before we get started. First of all, I was climbing up the side of a hill, so some of the footage is just a little shaky, so I apologize for that. I normally don't do that, but when you're going up the side of a hill, you've got to be careful. You got to watch your footing. I didn't want to cut it out because it kind of shows more of the cemetery than you would get otherwise. So this cemetery is actually called Old Town Cemetery in Paintsville, Kentucky, and there are a few things about it. The actual founder, one of the founders of Paintsville, is buried here, so his grave is well taken care of, and a few around his are okay. But back on the hill, we definitely have some forgotten, some abandoned graves that are back here. And I know that I bring all sorts of different types of cemetery tours. That's what I'm doing today, something different than I have normally than I've ever done, and something different than I normally do. And it just seems like a few thoughts about this. It just seems like that every tree, every branch that I went around was another hidden stone, and a lot of these stones were starting to get taken over by the vegetation, and this is a good example of what you're seeing here, and I saw a lot of this. You can just see the plants in front of that are blocking the name, and a few other things. I tried to get close so you could see the names through some of the weeds. Some you can see, some you can't. I didn't want to stick my hands in there and move around too much because, in the hills of Kentucky, we have snakes here. So I wanted to, maintain a balance of history and safety here, I guess you could say. But mainly, I just want to show you all this cemetery. And, I say this a lot in my videos, and it's something that I never want to forget. All these people, even though some of these are forgotten, and there's probably no one around that remembers some of these people, but they were people too, just like the rest of us. And if I can help pay respects and honor to them in just a small way on my channel, I want to do that. If you have ever been here, or if you've heard of here, I know I've got some viewers from the Paintsville area, and I am not too far away. I'm an hour or so away from there. If I have any viewers from Paintsville, please let me know if you have any history about this place in the comments below. I know that I would love to hear it, and the rest of the viewers here, I'm sure, would love to hear your insight as well. The last video I'd done was just down the road from this one a ways, and I was on my way to find this one and actually ended up in that other one by mistake. But I'm glad I filmed it because I was able to find some history there that I didn't know about. But you can see here just the weeds and how some of the vegetation is just taken over, and it seems like that this cemetery was almost in layers. Like you get to one layer, then you would climb up a little ways and get to another. But you can see that there are several stones here. And something else too, back in the winter here in Kentucky, I just want to stop here real quick. Father Reverend Jess Tackett, I saw a few different preachers in this cemetery, so I don't know if that's just coincidence. I guess it probably is. But back to what I was saying, back in the winter in February, before we get to that winter in February, anytime I always like to stop and pay respects to any veterans' graves. Raymond Tackett in Korea, it looks like. It makes me wonder, he passed away in 51. Makes me wonder if maybe, I don't know. I don't know the history there, but there's history all through these cemeteries. But back in February, we had a devastating ice storm. That ice storm took down a lot of trees, and I'm just thinking that some of what we see is some of the aftermath of those crazy ice storms that we had. And yeah, it just really took down a lot of trees, and just things were pretty bad here for a while. I saw a lot of stones kind of buried in the ground. I also saw, like right here, it almost looks like some sort of a plot has been mapped out with that little stone fencing there. But that very neat. You can tell at one time that this was very well taken care of, and you know, there was some pride taken in this. But these particular plants and weeds, you'll see, I saw a lot of those, and it just seems like every time I searched around those, I found another marker. And you can see, I don't know how well this translates on film and on video, but I mean, we are on the side of a hill here. And up towards the top of the hill, I mean, these graves have definitely not had too many visitors in a while. I really didn't saw some old flowers and things that were there, but really nothing that would suggest that people have been in this part recently. Now, you'll see kind of in the background, there is and I'm going to get closer to that before the end of the video, but there is some clearing down there, and it is taken care of. But up on the hill, it's definitely, for the most part, abandoned and forgotten. But yeah, if anyone out there knows anything about this, please let us know. And again, my apologies for the shaky video. I wanted to bring this video to you, and this is about the only way that I can do it, is just try to film and walk and not fall. But I want to pay honor, pay respects to those who are buried here that have been forgotten, because I mean, from the looks of it, there are a lot. And you'll see here, like this stone right here, knocked over and damaged. And who knows how long it's been that way. But, you know, again, these were all people too. But if you look, and you'll see some downed trees and such, a lot of limbs down. I still think that's probably from the ice storm. But this grave here, I really couldn't make out a name on it, but it appears to be shaped like a veteran's marker would be shaped. So I'm thinking that was another veteran. I believe before we go, there's actually another grave of a veteran that we will take a look at. But I appreciate you all coming with me on this journey today, and it was definitely an interesting, albeit sad one to make. And the unique is what I'm out to look for, the history, the stories that maybe, and stories and locations that maybe you have never seen before or would never get the chance to see if not for my channel. I love doing that. I love hearing those comments. So yeah, if you like this video, on this type of video, please leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And I do take those suggestions to heart. And there's been several things that I've started doing on my channel simply from a suggestion. So I do appreciate that. So yeah, I would love to hear from you. Just leave me a comment below. And while we are looking through here, I'm going to leave links in the description where you can find me. Frank S. Pelfrey. This is another veteran's grave, Frank S. Pelfrey. So I always like to stop and pay honor to our veterans. And you can see, I mean, there are a lot of primitive stones in here. You can see right there, Nancy Curtis. Just a very simple stone. And you'll see a lot of those up in the hills of Kentucky. But you can see right there, it's a little shaky, but I mean, I'm climbing up a hill to get to this. Dudley Ritchie is the name on this, passed away in 1929. A lot of old graves in here. I didn't really see too much evidence of anything new in here, so I'm guessing, and if anyone out there knows, let me know, I'm guessing this is closed to new burials. It's very beautiful. Once you get to the top of the hill, it's beautiful up here. But again, just want to pay honor to those forgotten people that are in this cemetery, and thank you all for joining me. We're going to go back now to the the bottom part of this cemetery, and you can see that it's a little more taken care of here. And in the back, you'll see the city of Paintsville. I'm going to leave links in the description, like I mentioned before, where you can find me. I love interacting with you all on Facebook. I'm more active on Facebook than Instagram, but Facebook, my Instagram page, my merchandise store, I've got some things there if you want a hat or shirt or something like that. But I'm going to show you the gravestone of one of the founders of the city of Paintsville, and he is actually buried in this cemetery. And I just wonder, if not for him being here, I just wonder how well taken care of this part would be as well. I have no idea on that, but I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. It's coming up, and I want to also show you the view from the top of the hill. Reverend Henry Dixon, founder of Paintsville, and it says there he was born 1774 in North Carolina, and eventually made it here. So it was great to be able to see his grave. That was a little bonus on this that I was able to find in this cemetery. the grave of Reverend Henry Dixon, the founder of Paintsville. But I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'm going to leave you with some little bit of the background on top of the hill of the scenery. Thank you again for watching. I will see you again soon.